Hey folks, this is Matt once again, and I might title this review slash rant, one of those things, because I can't say I liked the film. I can't call it a good movie, but it's just, you gotta look at it from my perspective. Before this, I saw Submerged, and Today You Die, and Black Dawn. Submerged were literally I swear more than half of the film when Seagal's talking, he's not even his own fucking voice. And that one is just a waste of potential. It pisses me off. Gary Daniels, Anthony Hitchcock's a horror director. If you saw the rant, you know what I'm talking about. Today You Die, and stealing entire action scenes from films like Today You Die with Peter Weller. And having Treach or Tretch, however you call it, and as your co-star, the rapper guy, and Black Dawn, where it's this boring film where he did none of his fight scenes, which I found out later on from there's an interview with the director. The reason for that is Seagal didn't want to do it. And the director of Black Dawn had a horrible experience with Steven Seagal. And Seagal was late, and he was out with prostitutes, and he was doing all sorts of shit. And he didn't care about the film. And he was spending the production money on parties and huge tabs at dinner with his entourage. So that and Seagal didn't want to do the fights at all. So that's why Black Dawn, none of the fights were with Seagal, none of them, and among other stuff. And after this, I've seen some films that come on after the Shadow Man. It's just such a forgettable, boring as hell movie. Attack Force is Attack Force, and I'll get to that. Flight of Fury. It's a fucking remake of a Michael Dudikoff 1998 movie called Black Thunder with a shitload of stock footage that apparently from reading up from the director of that movie, the reason a lot of his stock footage is that he didn't have to work with fucking Steven Seagal anymore. And among other stuff. And when I look at the films before and after this movie is just an averagely bad movie. Sad to say that this was kind of a step up amongst all that. But at the same time, I'm not going to give this the pass because there's too many direct-to-video action films I enjoy to give it the pass. Deadly Outbreak, Street Night. Well, in a way, Street Night is, in my opinion. Technically, I guess you could, but Deadly Outbreak, Land of Free with Jeff Speedman, Riot, and Rage and Recoil with Gary Daniels, PM Entertainment Films, Blood and Bone, in a way, Black Dynamite, Dolph Lundgren films like Command Performance, The Defender, The Russian Specialist, Van Damme films like Wake of Death, and The Shepherd, and Replicant, among others. I mean, there's just too many, to me, good direct-to-video action films are fun or entertaining to give this the pass. But yeah, it's not as bad as those other Seagal films I mentioned. And I also find it funny with this, back to this DVD, right? Soldier of Fortune John Cedar, Steven Seagal's character, is the best in the business. Dot, dot, dot. The business of kicking ass. That's literally what it says. He's the best in the business. Dot, dot, dot. The business of kicking ass. That's literally what it says on the back of the DVD. Directed by Donnie Fauntleroy. And actually, I think there's a story about this film. This and Today You Die. Or there is a story about this I'll get to. Pretty much he's a mercenary. And it begins with they're in Africa and they're told they're there to help the people. But the bad guys behind the scenes, they wanted the mercenaries there to get rich on oil and diamonds. Lou Goss is in it as, well, the text underneath says CIA Dirty Deeds Man. That's literally what it says, CIA Dirty Deeds Man. And then the other bad guy, because Lou Goss is one of our bad guys, the other bad guy is this very horrible enunciating British. He has to enunciate all of his words. He's a Black Ops producer, but ops spelled with two P's. Now, let me ask people, how do you spell Black Ops? I thought it was with one P, but they literally spell Black Ops OPPS. Someone let me know, is that how you spell Black Ops? With two P's? Because that's what this movie tells us. With two P's, OPPS. Because if I type in Black Ops with two P's, the computer tells me I'm a dumb fuck. No, dumb fuck, it's only OPS. Have you ever played Call of Duty? No, I don't have the systems. Well, it's called Call of Duty Black Ops. It's one P. So the fucking movie's so stupid it doesn't even know how to spell. They spelled ops with two P's. OPP at Black Ops. You're making, you release a movie, and if you're having text, at least spell it correctly. At least know how to fucking spell. Here's the director, Donnie Fauntleroy, and there's a lawsuit. They shot for 28 days. The story was confusing. It is. Because there were 4 writers on the film, and things were left over from draft to draft. I pointed all this out, but the producers did not care. And they cut out a big scene that played right in the middle of the film, and it caused a domino effect before and after. It's not that the producers are stuck up. They just hated Steven, and their whole existence was to destroy him, staff of personnel in the film. The day I arrived, they showed me a lawsuit that had already been prepared as it was ready to file if Steven gave them any problems. They eventually did file a lawsuit in Los Angeles after the film was finished. It was settled out of court. The company has since done a film with Steven, of course. The producers, Danny Lerner and Les Weldon, were not part of it. And as for the actual lawsuit and what it was about, see if I can get some info on that. Because that's more interesting than the fucking movie, honestly. And I should have said this. Yeah, it came out in 2006. And come on, I know there's a lawsuit about this. I think it's on the trivia on IMDb. Pretty much the producers were saying that Seagal was always coming in late, which seems like a common thing with a lot of these movies. A common problem you hear about Seagal. Oh, come on, I know there was a lawsuit. Anyway, as I looked that up, Luke Goss, like I said, there's 2 bad guys. Luke Goss, who's the CIA dirty deeds man. Then the other guy, who's a Black Ops with 2 P's producer. So Seagal and his team of mercenaries are in Africa. And a lot of French soldiers are now shooting at them. You have 2 sets of mercenaries. You have the good mercenaries with Seagal, his buddy, who's a communication specialist, and his actual name is Radio Jones. Yeah, the guy who's he deals with communications, and his actual fucking name is Radio. Radio Jones. That's his actual first. Well, hell, if you have a first name like that, then you have to go into that. Here's a lawsuit. New Image and Killmaster Productions sued Seagal for $14 million, claiming the actor caused production delays on the set of Mercenary and a second film, Today You Die, by routinely arriving late on set, rewriting the script, and allowing members of his entourage to interfere with his work of crew members. On the flip side, Seagal filed a fraud and breach of contract lawsuit against the producers of those 2 films, saying that he was owed $835,000 for starring in the film. At least for Mercenary. At this point, I honestly believe the producers more than Seagal at this point. I'm sorry. Usually I take the actor's side and give the point. The more I hear about it, the more I'm taking their side over Seagal. I'm sorry. To any Seagal fans. I'm the fan of Seagal from those early films, but apparently even some of those early films he was an asshole to work with. It just anyway. They're in Africa. Once the bad Mercs, they take these hostages, including this French ambassador, as insurance. Granted, at the beginning you do a lot of gunfire. You have a real tank. You have real explosions. People getting shot, practical blood squibs. The problem is it's all shot in that herky, jerky, shaky cam as if they're Saving Private Ryan. And that definitely hurts the scene. Because I hate that in an action scene. Shaky cam, handheld bullshit. I hate that. Sometimes, I will admit, sometimes I can get over it. If I'm really into the movie, I'll get over it. Battle Los Angeles is a perfect example. People who know my channel, they know I like that film. One of the big reasons people don't like it is because of that handheld shaky cam stuff. I can understand it, but in that film, I could get over it because I was enjoying the story, the simple story being told, Aaron Eckhart, the alien aspect. I like the special effects. I like Michelle Rodriguez. I liked a lot of stuff in that movie. I could get over it. See, I can get over stuff if there's enough stuff I like, and I'm like, okay, I won't hate it because of that or that. This, no. It's kind of by default that I'm not ranting on this as much as some of his others before or after this. Because at least there's stuff happening. Oh, cool, there's some explosions, some practical blood squibs. Ooh, but it doesn't save the movie. It doesn't make it a good movie. And Seagal realizes they've been fucked over by the Black Ops with two P's and Luke Goss, who's the villain in Blade 2, and he's been in a lot of stuff. A lot of direct-to-video, like the Death Race sequels. Seagal's been fucked over by them. His buddy Radio Jones gets shot and killed. While the other mercenaries, they're telling him, hold your fire, we have hostages. They keep firing, okay, then fuck you. Well, he doesn't say that, but pretty much, oh, then fuck you, get out of the truck. They blow up, and the hostages get blown up, and then those mercenaries meet up Seagal. And Seagal beats them up and says, I ought to fucking kill you right now, boy. And then the guy has a gun on him, and does a total 180. Oh, maybe later. There's a lot of those total 180s that this film does. There's another scene later on where a bunch of bad guys have a gun on them. Maybe we should get a cup of coffee, or maybe we'll shoot you. And Seagal has a gun on them, and just without even thinking, yeah, I guess we'll get a cup of coffee. That happens a few, not a lot, but a few times in this flick. So he goes home to see Radio Jones's wife and kid and says he wants to help out, gives him some money. There's some guys waiting outside in a truck. Seagal shoots one and hits another with the butt of his gun. And Luke Goss was on the other end of the phone that those guys had. And pretty much the enunciating, over-the-top, annoying as fuck British guy gets Seagal to work for him. Because now, automatically, he has his friend's wife and kid hostage. And then you get a lot of confusing stuff. Seagal, like at one point, he's supposed to be him and these mercs going to this prison to rescue this son of this arms dealer. And then the woman who's kind of was with him, she's working with Luke Goss, but I guess really she's not working with Luke Goss. She's still working with Seagal. And Seagal is meaner at a restaurant, goes into the bathroom, beats up this guy. Granted, I will say, unlike Seagal's actually doing some stuff, and it's not all his fight double. It's actually Seagal doing it, but it's all right. Takes a guy, breaks it under his arm, smacks him around a bunch in the bathroom. That sounds wrong, but so yeah, at least it's Seagal doing stuff, and it's not his fight double, and he's at least I guess there's that. some of the mercs break into a prison. There's no one there. So the mercs, the bad mercs who had blew up the hostages at the beginning of the film, they get trapped and most of them get shot up by two. And then those two come out, they steal this orange tank, and then the guards blow them up with bazookas. So I guess Seagal orchestrated this where the guy who's the son of the arms dealer who is held in prison, now he's not there, and those mercs, he fucked those mercs over, those evil mercenaries, getting their ass shot up, and then really this is doing to steal stuff from this bank. I'm like, where the fuck did the bank come in? But because earlier Luke Goss and the woman who we thought was with him, but is really with Seagal, they were looking over this bank and she was taking pictures. And then she tells Luke Goss later to go to the prison so the cops are out of there. But again, she's working with Seagal, so Seagal and his team go to the bank and they steal some shit and they shoot some guards. And I'm thinking, are those guards of the bank bad guys? They seem like they're just there hired to guard the money. So did they just kill some... Did Seagal and the woman kill some innocent people? Innocent guards? Weren't they just protecting the money? Were they really bad guys? Once again, that sort of murky storytelling that I fucking hate in these Seagal films. Luke Goss is there. He beats up Luke Goss. Doesn't kill him because Luke Goss later on gets arrested. And then Seagal's going to go after the enunciating British guy. And you have scenes, like for example, the bad guy has the woman and kid in a lighthouse. He goes up and he says, "Time to say your final goodbyes." Then he's walking and he picks up an orange and automatically, "I prefer apples." That's a turn from say your final goodbye. I prefer apples. That'd be like, I don't fucking kill you. Would you like a Twizzler? See, it'd be as random as that. I'm gonna knock your fucking teeth out. So you wanna go bowling? See, that's what I mean. I'm like, what? And then like this one character, Bulldog, comes out of nowhere as now with our heroes. If they're heroes. I don't even like any of these characters. The first time we see this Bulldog guy, he's at the restaurant that Seagal and the woman are at, and then the guy walks into the bathroom after Seagal beat that guy up, and Seagal's like, "You from Detroit? I'm from Detroit. We're two Detroit guys. We're Motor City guys." And then all of a sudden, Bulldog's with the team. Like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, you get a little firefight at that lighthouse, and then the kid and woman are not there. They're somewhere else. They get to that house. Some of the people are killing bad guys. Seagal does a karate chop behind a guy. Disarms a guy who has a knife and slices his throat. Has a talk with the bad guy, the enunciating guy. Lets the guy go in his car. Then Seagal goes, "I always thought he had an explosive personality," and blows up the guy's car. Then it cuts to really bad ADR dubbing that's not Seagal's voice. Of, "Oh, he got his buddy back, and I promised I would bring him back to give him a proper burial and funeral." Just an ending this crappy editing and bad ADR. I'm sorry, folks. I just don't have much gusto for this review because it's a bad movie that doesn't even know how to fucking spell right. Characters that little this person is turning on this person as you think is working for this person, but is really working for this person, and you think they're going to have to rescue a guy in prison, but Seagal, I guess, did some stuff so the evil guys get themselves killed while rescuing the person who's not really there. Because I guess they're on a plane being flown somewhere. And then Seagal really wants to get into this bank. And I don't even remember why they had the whole thing with the bank. I guess that was the idea. But then they got fucked. Then Seagal fucked the enunciating guy over. And then the bad guy has the wife and woman in the lighthouse. But then Seagal and his team get the lighthouse. But no, now he has in a fucking house. So Seagal and his team has to go to the house. Just at times confusing storyline plot. I don't really care about any of the characters. The reason I'm not ranting and raving is it doesn't use a lot. It doesn't really use stock footage like Flight of Fury. Is that, oh my god, there's not a single thing worth a shit like Attack Force. It doesn't steal entire scenes from other action films like Today You Die, which again stole the scene from Today Top of the World for Peter Weller. It's at best an average, but it's an averagely bad movie. It's an averagely bad movie with some actual explosions and firefights and a beginning with a little warfare and tanks and with a lot of shaky cam as if it's Saving Private Ryan. And there's not a lot of Seagal's fight double in the movie. When you see Seagal doing something, it's him. Although you get a bit shaky cam, which is not great. There's a lot worse movies in Seagal's filmography, but I still can't. I still think it's a bad movie. So that's why I'm going to call it a review/rant. This could have been a time waster, but you can't even spell Black Ops right. And that's not even hard to spell. Black Ops. How hard is it to spell Ops? O-P-S. Not O-P-P-S. Jesus. Anyway. Thanks for watching. Take care. I'm also not ranting as much because I know what's next. And this is what's next. Fuck.